Still looking at me.
Yo, what's up guys? What's good? How's it going? Mighty here. Since that I talked about Street Fighter the movie, and which I already made it loud and clear about that, but I guess I just want to get this out of the way about the arcade, which is the game, which is that you take of the cast from the movie and being photo digitized, the same kind of element that was done on Mortal Kombat, and that considered that's one of the over the top of the most insane fighting game that is breaking all the laws of physics, and just downright that's trying to be this close to be of Street Fighter 2, but not so much. Hell, I mean, they actually just added Akuma in the game, which is that he did not show up in the film, which that makes no sense. And especially the teleportation, that it looks like he's just doing this and just doing of a jitter run. I don't get it. And from what I also understand, that Akuma was played by Ernie Reyes Sr., which that's Ernie Reyes Jr.'s father. So I just want to get this one little thing out of the way, and after that I can move on with other requests that I'm going to be doing throughout today and tonight. But this is the latest video from Matt McMuscles, and that this is part of the worst fighting game series featuring Maximilian Dude. And obviously they're gonna talk about the arcade, and there are several of the home ports that's also gonna be talked about as well. So let's begin, and time to react.
Turn on your TV.
Oh, I remember seeing this. Kenny Omega
Welcome back,
as
World
Cody.
Warriors, to the worst fighting game. My divine struggle to find the undisputed champion of bafflingly bad button bashers. And there's nothing more button bashy than Street Fighter the movie. Yes, it's finally time. This was Capcom's woeful attempt to try and cash in on Mortal Kombat's encroaching popularity in the Western arcade scene. While the mainline Street Fighter II series was slowly losing momentum with each revision, Mortal Kombat was only getting bigger and bigger. Thus, Capcom reached out to a local Chicago-based studio called Incredible Technologies, who then... Wait, no, I made a whole-ass video chronicling this game's troubled development that, yeah, there it is, right there. If you've not yet partaken, I absolutely suggest you do. You'll be wiping away tears as you learn about this gorgeous garbage fire. But just as insane as the history of SFTM is, the experience of playing it is just as insane, if not more so. It got absolutely savaged in reviews of the day, with almost all publications dismissing the everlasting crowd out of it, and it being largely ignored by most fans as well. There's three reasons for this. One, the game looked terrible and was a clear visual ripoff of Mortal Kombat. Two, it lacked polish, nuance, and balance. And three, Capcom released Street Fighter Alpha Warriors Dreams into arcades the exact same month as Street Fighter the movie.
Oh my
absolutely ensuring its burial. But like, why?
It doesn't make any sense.
But then, in an attempt to salvage something from the mess, an internal Capcom team took the code and unfinished assets from Incredible Technologies to make vastly improved upon home ports. But were these ports vastly improved?
I don't think so.
Thus, for the last 27 years, this game has been a bit of a black eye for the Street Fighter franchise. It's never been re-released in any official form, and Capcom seemed to take great care in pretending it doesn't exist. although I am surprised that someone took the time to write a massive 2 sentences about it in the museum section of the 30th anniversary collection. So with all that said, today's matchup is going to be a big one, because I'll be fighting against 2 distinct versions of the same game with their own rosters, moves, and mechanics. So I hope I'm gonna have what it takes to...
You don't have what it takes, Matthew.
Maximilian from YouTube, Twitch, and the popular fighting game podcast Triple KO.
Okay,
what
so
are
he's
you
doing the
here?
voice.
You asked me to be on.
Right. Well, with you at my side,
that's
let's
cool.
see just how
okay,
dark
so he's doing
this chapter
his
of
own
Capcom
voice.
history truly got when we get Street Fighter the movie in the ring.
Let's go.
All right, so yeah, a sliver of context. Capcom was really impressed by the visuals and color palette of Time Killers for some reason, and wanted incredible technologies to work that same magic into Street Fighter. Cabinet. But they also wanted the actors who were on set during the summer 1994 shoot of the film to be digitized because Mortal Kombat. Yeah. With the limited time they had capturing the actors, coupled with their general inexperience, most of the cast were not trained martial artists, this is what you wind up with, a very visually busy game with awkward Street Fighter cosplayers. The characters look like they've been squirted on with like 2 gallons of baby oil, and across the board, there's simultaneously too much animation and also not enough.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, why would they have to be all sweats?
Unlike Mortal Kombat, which invented a simple and clear moveset, uppercuts, sweeps, and basic punches and kicks, Incredible Technologies had to replicate and digitize classic special moves and crazy-looking normals that were designed with sprites in mind, which wasn't an exact science. The backgrounds are kind of similar in that they feature tons, again maybe too much, additional animation, effects, and NPCs, like the cage match stage scene here, which aggressively hides lots of information from you. Sure, it's movie accurate, but when you need to judge spacing and timing, it's a hindrance. I will say, technically, the stages are pretty impressive because there's a lot going on, just so many layers. And some of them are interactive too. You can blow up stuff in the background with hidden commands, or have Van Damme gesture to anyone that dares talk shit about him. As for the roster, well, it's an odd one. Try to be shocked. Everyone from Super Turbo appears, except not everyone. Blanca and DJ's footage was captured but never finished in time for release. The actor that played T-Hawk just never showed up. Fei Long was transformed into Sawada, and Dalsim was never even considered. There is, of course, the all-new, all-original character Blade, a random bison trooper. Wait, did I say character? I meant characters. In a very overt Mortal Kombat
I never understood why they added
masked, color-coded warriors. Arcane,
he's just a minion, a henchman.
All of them sharing from a pool of really similar moves. If I'm gonna be honest, they had very little to the proceedings.
You know what? For a minute, you're almost useful.
Now, we do have to talk about the audio because it's you know, a bit, a little rough around the edges. And okay, that's enough. It's bad.
Yeah, how about
is it so bad that it's hilarious?
I remember there was a clip that someone that did a multiple time doing the Shoryuken, and all I get is that it yells, "Dragon, dragon, 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 dragon." That's all I got. Weird.
Yeah, I think it's pretty subjective. Music-wise, it's a mixed bag because while the standard soundtrack is a paltry selection of derivative, somewhat grungy tunes found in other IT smash hits like Time Killers and Bone Storm, they did include an alternative soundtrack. This is composed of remixed Street Fighter II themes that you select by inputting codes at the Versus screen, and honestly, they're pretty good. Loading Geek has a whole playthrough that features this music, so check that out if you're interested. Endings are a bit of a disappointment though. I would have killed for like 30-second live-action clips of the Street Fighters doing something stupid or having something stupid done to them, like Ken getting gunned down after a deal gone bad, Chun-Li becoming the CEO of CNN, or Sagat investing all his Bison dollars into funding porn, I don't know. Instead, it's just a few promo pics of the actors and pretty bland descriptions. The only one worth a mention is Blaze,
basically
which
that it's just the
reveals
same
him
thing
to be
that
Guile's
on
brother Gunlock.
Mortal
A
Kombat.
weird connection that Capcom USA was pushing at that time, as this was also hinted at in Saturday Night Slam Masters. No matter the ending,
I need to go
you at
back
least
on,
get this
Capcom
clip
Arcade
every
Stadium.
time you clear the game.
I remember hearing
while
that.
the presentation of the arcade version certainly has its flaws, it is indeed colorful and it at least visually commands your attention for a minute or two, like something gross yet intriguing floating in a vat of pickle juice. I'm not sure the same can be said about the console ports. Wait, can you say that about the console ports, Max?
No, you cannot. This is a completely different game that, while shares some of the same graphical assets from the arcade, looks incredibly washed out, blurry, and desaturated on the PlayStation and Saturn. If you then look really closely, you can tell that Capcom artists drew over or made completely new frames to bring the animation more in line with Street Fighter II, but this makes for a jarring mix depending on the move or character. Speaking of which, the roster has seen some notable additions and omissions. Gone are all of the ninjas. Bison Troopers, but in their place is a weird scrawny Blanca. They pumped this guy with super steroids the entire movie, and this is what they got? And DJ in the most regal gray sweatpants.
I should have stayed at Microsoft.
Every stage is now more plain and has way less elements to them, but at least there's no longer tons of shit blocking your view. It's impressive that Capcom cobbled together so many other assets and imagery from the movie, but it is bizarre that they put so much effort into these new backgrounds that it starts to make you think, what is this? A port? A remake.
Let's not quibble over definition.
This extends over to the audio, which has been completely overhauled. You get new voices that are exclusive to this very game, and sound like a mix between Super Turbo and Alpha. The music is brand new as well, and also skews towards the Alpha soundscape, and while not as iconic, is still pretty solid.
So basically,
Endings are unique too, and overall are more Street Fighter-ish than the MK-style stuff Incredible Technologies had done. Capcom was weirdly obsessed with Chun-Li's red dress though, as multiple endings mention it for some reason.
So yeah, while neither version is, pristine in terms of presentation, they do have advantages and disadvantages over each other. But to really see the difference between them, let's check out the...
Okay, so I was trying to say that. So I think that in this was the Sega Saturn version of Street Fighter, the movie, the game. It's technically it's like Super Turbo 2, but on the movie that with a better sound and the voices, but it's different. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe that.
Cards on the table. Street Fighter the movie The Arcade plays like was made in Mugen. Hell, I don't know, maybe it inspired the creation of Mugen. What I mean by that is that there's so few rules and boundaries in what you can do. There are some, but not many. Almost everyone has TODs or infinites, things that shouldn't combo into each other absolutely do, and there's not only cross-ups, but cross-downs, cross-rights, cross all around.
It's likely that
aside from the normal
each of the
repertoire
characters
of
are
special moves,
broken when it
Incredible
comes to
Technology
doing all
saw
the
fit
combos,
to add
so
some new ones in
I
too,
guess that's why they consider
there's
that
Zangief's
doing
airplane
infinitely.
spin, Guile's handcuffs, Bison's electricity,
in which that became a disappointment of what we all know about what Bison is all
Sagat's
about.
eye laser. The sheer balls of Incredible Technologies to go, yeah, Sagat has magic under his eye patch. What, want to fight about it? Is, well, it's
makes
something.
no sense.
It doesn't stop there, though, because there's a bunch of wholly new mechanics. The first is interrupt moves, where if you perform a character-specific command while blocking, you'll reverse into an invincible special move with green shadows. Remember, this came out the same month as Alpha 1, so either
Warrior
great
Stream.
minds think alike, or it was something Capcom had asked to be included. Next is the comeback move, which is another powerful special that you can only use when your health is low. Cammy can throw grenades, Guile has an explosive sonic boom that he can manually detonate, and Chun-Li can shoot birds. We're not done. If you hold 2 buttons and release, you can exchange Super Bar to heal yourself. Everyone does this sensual little wiggle, and they get like 20% health back. I mean, why not? Then there's the throws. Oh God, the throws.
I want to talk about this.
No, you don't. You can throw, reverse, counter reverse, and then...
Slam Master!
These are incredibly hard to do, and remembering every input to become the master of Slam is kind of pointless, as it'll probably never factor into a practical match. Every character, except one of the Bison Troopers, gets 2 types of super moves. The ones with classic blue shadows are what you'd expect. Multiple flash kicks, super fireballs, final atomic buster, etc. However, the red shadow supers come purely from the mad minds down at incredible technologies. Usually they're multi-hitting flurries like Guile or Ryu's here, but then there's Ken's throw super or Bison's crazy head stomp that dizzies his opponent. Why? Why would you give him that? It's broken as fuck.
Of course!
Right, let's finish up with the modes. Well, it's an arcade game, so it only has 1. Oh wait, I lied. There's a hidden tag team mode, and even a few code-activated gameplay modifiers for the hell of it. Say what you will about how it looks and plays, but Incredible Technologies was stuffing extras in until the 11th hour. When you look at everything as a whole, though, it comes across as this unbalanced, messy, drunken circus. You can hardly believe what your eyes are showing you.
It's just broken.
Yeah, and all that dumb drunken clown shit, that was scrubbed clean by Capcom for the home versions. The supers were changed to be exactly like they behave in Super Turbo, and the red shadow ones were cut altogether. Yeah, you actually have less options in this. There's no comeback moves, interrupts, no new specials, and worst of all, They did add in one additional mechanic though, and this isn't from the arcade either, so strap yourselves in.
I think you will find the coming events most educational.
Street Fighter the movie for consoles is the first Street Fighter game that lets you EX. Yeah, spend a chunk of your super bar, and you can do an enhanced special move. And if you wait until your super bar is full, you can do them indefinitely. It's so fucking insane that these games spawned a bunch of mechanics that would later make their way into mainline entries. Where the home version does win out is in the modes. Not quite on the level of Alpha 3 on the PSP, but it's something. Trial Battle is weird, as it just lets you play random matches, which then rate you on aggressiveness, completion, and mastery. You can then save the data, which does something... What the fuck? Okay, honestly, the main draw is the movie battle. This is basically the first cinematic story mode in a fighting game. You're presented with a Guile-only scenario and cutscenes which give you a number of choices, which then lead to different paths and characters to fight. You can even lose certain battles, which result in other outcomes altogether, and it's all within the framework of a ticking countdown clock. Take too long, and that son of a bitch Bison blows up the hostages, you'll foil his evil plan.
Wow, it's just like in the hit movie.
That's right, Matthew. Now, clearly they did the best they could with the limited material they had, but the gameplay is still a sludgy, weird version of Super Turbo. But I gotta be honest, this mode is kind of neat.
Oh yeah, home version feels sludgy, does it?
Yes, very.
So I guess we better talk about the...
They both suck ass.
Yeah, while the arcade version moves at a clip where it's constantly ingesting a cocktail of cocaine, speed, and Four Loko, that doesn't mean it feels great to play. It just lacks Street Fighter 2's deliberate, polished nature. Everything is going buck wild at every single moment that by the time you come to grips with it, the match is already over. The priority of specific moves and supers, the way Balrog can block and reflect projectiles, or Ryu and Ken can control the height of said projectiles, means the game was clearly designed by people who were throwing everything at the wall to see what would stick, which guaranteed it would never stick. The game feel, coupled with its ludicrous speed, means you can't really rely on any set strategy. It's a wild, lawless world where everything goes.
And it's the opposite over on the PlayStation and Saturn. It plays way too safely. Yeah, the EX specials, new voices, and the movie battle are novel additions, but it's just not enough. The whole point of the project was to make a different kind of Street Fighter, but this is the same thing, just uglier and slower. Although, it does have this exclusive Sawada Super.
What
That's
the
some good
fuck?
shit. Wait, no, it's not. Overall, it's bad shit. I had a bad time playing this again. Damn you, McMuscles!
Okay, well that means it's time to see where these two very different contenders will land on our list of the worst fighting games.
Please.
Honestly, despite it feeling so sloppy, unbalanced, and it looking really very ugly, the wild gameplay and insane mechanics kind of make this the least bad game on the list. It goes so far south that it breaks all measurements of scale and goes from a 0 to a 10, making it, well, that'll be just fine.
I hate you. Every single second you're playing the home version, you just wish you were playing Super Turbo or Alpha, or almost anything else. Not because it's terrible or broken, mind you. It's just nothing. I get how Capcom wanted to fix things, but they went way too far in the other direction. Overcorrecting incredible technologies work? Nah! I don't even like the smell of this at all. So you put this in your stink category you have up there. I don't even care.
Thanks, Max, for stopping in and lending a helping hand or fist for today's episode.
Don't ask me to be on this again.
And if you out there want to suggest the next opponent you'd like me to take on, do let me know in the comments below or sound the gong over on my Twitter. Until then, World Warriors, I'll see you next time on the worst fighting game.
Game over!
Wow. All I got to say, so in the term of that, the arcade version was completely sloppy, and every single characters are just broken when it comes to doing so much of all the combos. We're talking about infinity and too much. It's just basically too much. And perhaps that it's in the sense that Dulcim and Blanca were better off not being in the arcade, but Blaze, really? And I did notice that he could spit flames out of the helmet because of the namesake Blaze. Okay. And I didn't, and I forgot that not only to the Sega Saturn, but the PlayStation of the game, it's very ugly and it's so slow. It's basically it's the version of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, but it's just it's a mixed bag, to say the least of it. Now it makes sense of when it comes to doing the EX special moves, of the Red Shadow, because I did used to have electronic. No, I'm sorry. It was either the Electronic Gamer magazine or Game Pro that shows of the whole list and the move set of the Street Fighter the movie arcade. Yeah, it's coming back to me, and Slam Masters. Why does that almost sound like of another beat 'em up game, a very classic one? Saturday Night Slam Masters with the S. I don't know. Don't ask me. It just doesn't make any sense. But oh my god, that's wild. I mean, all I can say is that what were they thinking? Because Mortal Kombat was that popular, and that's the only reason why they wanted to go that far of trying to do the same, using elements from the movie, but not so much. And definitely there were no voices from the movie that was added, so that's very unfortunate. And perhaps that it was better off that way. Jesus Christ. But nice video, by the way, Matt McMuscles, and nice to see you, Max. Keep up the good shit there. But what do you think of this video? Do you consider that the arcade version was worse, or was that the home port is? So I would like to hear your thoughts about this. And if you have not subscribed to Matt McMuscle or Maximilian Dude, you need to go ahead and subscribe to them. And they do provide some really good videos and their point of view when it comes to some of the past games and some of that is considered the worst. And there's one video that I would like to see, but that's going to be another time. But until then, leave a likes and also leave the comments down below, and I will catch y'all in the next video. So take care, guys, and be safe.